Good morning, everyone. I am Pankaj Jaiswal, lecturer in Government Polytechnic Ghaziabad, Interior Designing and Decoration. Today's topic for discussion is paints, distemper, and varnishes in interiors. This is basically most useful for interior designing and decoration students, architecture students, and also for civil engineering students. Let me give you a brief idea of interior designing and decoration. Interior designing and decoration running in three polytechnics in Uttar Pradesh, government polytechnics. One is in Ghaziabad, where I'm placed right now. Another branch is in Lucknow, and one in Allahabad, Prayagraj. Basically, for boys, it is in they only have options in Ghaziabad, whereas girls can have admission in any three of these cities. It has been very strategically placed in interior designing decoration, very strategically placed in only three big cities of Uttar Pradesh because the bigger cities have better opportunities for job and also for to set up their own offices in these bigger cities because of their rich culture and better environment and awareness. So let us start with the detailed discussion on paints and varnishes. Paints and varnishes is basically, let me define what is a paint. Paint is the building as such. When we complete the civil work of the structure, then civil works leaves a very rough surface of walls and wood and metals. Paint is a such a it gives a protective layer to our raw surfaces of building. So it is very important for any raw surfaces to make it weatherproof against the environment, and also gives a very rich aesthetic looks. So it is a paint comes under the building construction and materials subject, which is a very important subject for interior designing and architecture students. So let us now go with the main constituents of the paint. Paint is basically a solvent. It consists of solvents, pigment, and binder. Pigment is basically to give a different shades to the wall surface or the wooden surface. Binder is a polymer often referred to as a resin, forming a matrix to hold the pigment in place. And then there is an extender or a solvent. Larger pigment particles added to improve adhesion. Solvent is basically it till the time the paint dries up. It the main purpose of the solvent is to cover the surface evenly and smoothly. Then what are the principal constituents of the paint? Paint is basically the main constituent of the paint is white lead, red lead, lead, zinc white or zinc oxide, iron oxide, titanium white or titanium dioxide, and lithopone. These are the different constituents of any generalized paint to give the desired properties of to the paint surface. Then while choosing a paint like the what I as I'm also like into this field for the last 25-30 years. There's a lot of dilemma among our like students and the public as such while deciding the type of paint for their home. So it is very important to understand the characteristics of a good paint. What is a good paint all about? The properties the good paint should have is it should stick well to the surface and should be able to seal the previous substrata. It consistency should provide easy workability. The thickness of the paint film should be adequate for good protection and decoration of the surface. The paint film should dry rapidly. Why it is very important? Because if it will not dry rapidly, the dust and the other particles will start settling down on the paint surface. The dried paint film should be able to withstand the adverse weather effect. As we all know, like India is a very extreme climate. Basically, in Uttar Pradesh, we see a very extreme weather conditions. In hot weathers, the weather is very hot. Temperatures going up to 45, 48 degrees centigrade, and the winter months are cold and temperature goes up to like maybe 2 degrees centigrade. So the difference in temperature is very high. To withstand that adverse effect of the temperature, the paint should have the quality to withstand these adverse weather effects. It should offer resistance to failure by checking, cracking, and flacking. The adverse weather conditions, they tend to give a defect to the paint surface, for example, cracking and flacking. So the good quality paint should be able to resist any such defects coming from the weather conditions. Then we also have like in the rainy seasons are very wet, and the moisture content is very high in the weather. So a good paint should have good moisture resistance qualities also. And the most important thing is the color of the paint should be such that it should not fade with the passage of the time, because the painting is a very tedious job. Like we cannot afford to have like paint the surface every 6 months of a year. So while selecting a paint, the quality of the paint should be such that it should not fade very frequently. Like once we paint the surface, a good paint should last at least 3 to 4 to 5 years in uniform shade conditions. Now, to get all these desired qualities in the painted surface, there is a like process of painting. It is not like we just like after, suppose we take a for example a plastered surface, a newly plastered surface on the brickwork, and then we do a cement plaster. The paint should only be applied after at least 45 days of plastering, because cement has its own quality of like it takes around 21 to 30 days to finally set down. After proper curing, 30 days of curing on the wall surface, the wall should be left to dry for another 15 days in a good condition. Not, for example, in rainy conditions, the painting should be avoided, because rainy conditions, like it takes long to for the wall to dry up. So in normal conditions, suppose for May, the we should wait for 45 days before we start the process of painting. Then we have like 4 5 different steps of painting the surface. Firstly is preparation of the surface. The wall should be like even, it should not have undulations. Then knotting means like it's a like you have to check the surface of the wall condition. It should not have any defects or cracks or anything. If there is any defect or cracks or unevenness in the wall, we should apply the proper putties, like which is readily available in the market, to make the wall surface even. After applying the putty, then we do one coat of priming coat. Primer is very important. Most of the time, like people tend to avoid priming coat, because some putty manufacturers, they specify like they just, it is a marketing stunt. They like uh, they specify there's no primer is required, but we suggest like after making a putty with the on the wall, we do a one surface of primer coat. After primer coat, you will see a lot of like undulations, because which were not visible earlier. After priming, we see a lot of undulation now visible, because the wall has been painted white, primered white. So the more other defects starts getting visible. We have to do a putty touch up, which is called stopping. Then after stopping, we do one surface coat. Surface coat means is the first coat which is applied on the wall surface to make it even. And first coat is basically applied with the help of brush, and then we do a finishing coat. Finishing coat is, for example, is a second coat or the third coat applied on the wall surface to give it a even surface. And the second or the third coat which is applied is basically done with the help of a roller. The final coat is a third coat, or maybe at times it may require the fourth coat also. It's suggested to have with the roller, good quality roller, to give a uniform surface to the painting coat. Nowadays we have like different materials available in the market to to get a rich and a better aesthetic of the paint. For example, traditionally we used to do it with a brush, but now we also have like spray guns are available, and then we have rollers are available, and to give a and then we have a scraper machines and to make the wall surface even. So it is always recommended to make the surface, to use the given technologies available in the market to get a rich home interior with the help of paints. Now we are just going to show you the different types of rollers available in the market to get the desired uh, wall surface. Then we also use like masking tapes and another films, protective films, to for wherever there's a change in the surface, for example the wall and the ceiling or the skirting and the floor, we should cover the surfaces corners with the help of masking tape, so to avoid the spillovers and get a neat good look after the painting. This is like different types of scrapers and tools which are available in the market, which a good painter should always use, so that the wall surface comes out to be very good aesthetically and good even shades. Now the question is, what type of surfaces and what type of paints, is how the paint is selected for the desired surface. There are different types of paint available in the market for different surfaces. One paint doesn't cover all the surfaces. For example, the most economical and the cheapest uh, paint is a whitewash, is a cement based whitewash which is done directly on the wall, and a cemented wall. It is mostly done in the like public places, and where the like you have to do it, you have to paint the surface every like 6 months or a year. It does not have a very good, it is not durable, but yes, after whitewashing a wall it gives a freshness. So when you need to the walls to be fresh for after every 6 months, we should whitewash the surface. Then there are oil paints. Oil paints are like basically done a wall which has more durability and as compared to the whitewash. Then the best quality paint is a emulsion paint. Emulsion paints are, in the market we generally call it plastic paint. Emulsion paints are more durable and gives an even surface, and the life of the emulsion, good emulsion paint, is something around 3 to 5 years. So if you want to get a rich and a good aesthetic on the interiors of your walls, you may go with the emulsion paint. Then we have also have emulsion paint is also applied on the exterior surfaces of the wall. For example, like outside in the elevations, if you want to do emulsion paint, the different slightly exterior grade paint is available for the exterior surface of the wall as well. Then there's a cement based paint in the market, like we call it generally, we call snow sam or something like that, which are cement based paints, and it is basically a whitewash only with colors of pigments of shade. Then number five, we have enamel paints. Enamel paints are basically oil-based paint which gives a glossy finish to a metal surface. In metal surface, we don't use cement-based paint; we use enamel paints. Then distemper paints are basically whitewash and cement-based paints which have different shades. Bituminous paints are there. For example, on the terrace or the surfaces which are more prone to the moisture, we use bitumen paints to give a waterproof, yeah, or we can better call it water resistant surfaces to the any surface. Then there are specialized paints also. For example, epoxy paints are made from epoxy resins that use a hard floor covering. Epoxy paint is basically, it gives a waterproof layer to any surface to prevent it from the dampness or the weather conditions or the moisture. Then there are some specialized industry paints, for example, anti-condensation paints to reduce the formation of condensation of moisture. Then we have luminous paints also, which glows in dark. For example, when we go in the road and we see some like the road markings and all, which is required to be uh, fluorescent or radioactive, that is called luminous paints. That is for specialized purposes. All our like glow signs or the signages used in the public places, so that it is available in the dark, we use luminous paints. Latex, or the use of rubber in one form or other. Then we have latex or the rubber paint also is also there. For example, in some industries we need like watertight or the moisture proof surfaces or the corners, so that there is no moisture on the other side of the surface. We use latex paint. Then we have lead paint, which contains more than 5% lead oxide, and which is basically used for wooden surface. We have metallic paints, which contains flakes of aluminum, copper, bronze, stainless steel, or other materials, which gives a film which appearance of metal. Metal frame is widely used in our interior designing projects, where we need to have like on normal MS surfaces, for example MS plates or MS angles. If we want to have like the look of copper or bronze or steel or SS or silver, aluminum, we can paint the surface with the metallic paint and we'll get the desired result. Then rubber paint is an emulsion paint having chlorinated rubber as its binder. Then rubber paint is also, it is used in some specialized industries. Then we have aluminum paint. Aluminum paints reflects the sun radiation well and retains the heat. Then we have, this is aluminum paint, has some specific qualities. Then we have textured paints. Textured paints is also widely used in our interiors of homes, where we can have different types of textures. We have entire like shade card available with different coarse grains, and to create a rough pattern, we can, with the help of rollers and the use of this textured paints, we can make different patterns. We can customize the wall surface with different types of grains. We can use a pattern, we can use digital images to create the customized patterns on our walls. Then we have silicone paint, which has excellent durability, toughness, resistance to cracking and abrasion caused by severe temperature changes. For example, in some like locations where there's a very severe temperature changes between a day and night, or maybe between the days, we can go with silicone paint, which can resist to an extent the temperature changes. Then we have zinc rich paint, or zinc rich paint is basically like for the metal surfaces like mild steel, and which is used in the buildings, are prone to corrosion. To protect the metal surfaces from corrosion, we can use zinc rich paints. Anti-corrosive paints are there, which protects the metal surface against degradation due to moisture, soil spray, and oxidation. Fungicidal paints are there to discuss growth of fungi or on its dry applied film. This is all about the paints. Now we come to varnishes and polishes. There's a lot of like question or confusion in the general public. What is the difference between the paint and the varnish or the polish, as we call it? Basically, in the paint, gives always gives a opaque film on any given surface, be it be metal or wood or cement walls. But polish differs in the context, because polish is gives a transparent film over the given surface. For example, now mostly in the case of wood, like when we use uh, good quality wood, for example, teak wood, furnitures and bed and the sofa and the dining table, so the wood itself has a very good natural appearance. Wood, or like we also have, like we use veneers to retain the rich and the natural beauty of that particular surface. We don't just paint it, we polish it. The polish gives a uniform transparent film to the wood surface, and it retains the good appearance of the natural appearance of that particular surface, for example wood. So the basic difference, paint is a gives a opaque film and polish gives a transparent film to the given surface. So wherever there is a need of a to give a rich interior look, if you're using, like for example, uh, our furnitures are made of teak wood or sesame wood or a good quality wood, pine wood, we should go with the polish and we should not paint the surface. Varnish is a clear pale solution of resinous substance like amber, common resin, copal, lac or shellac, dissolved in either oil, turpentine or alcohol. Oil or turpentine or alcohol acts as a solvent for these resinous substances. Varnish plays an important role in finishing wooden surfaces of doors, windows, floors, furniture, partition, paneling. So it is very clear that varnish or paint is used for wooden surfaces only. For example, wood, doors, floors, furniture, partitions, or paneling. Just like paints, we have different types of polishes available in the market as per your need. For example, the first and the most economical polish is called spirit polish or the French polish. A spirit polish or French polish generally used in, like if we wish in a public places or some, like now for economical purposes, we don't want to go with a very now high quality paint and the weather conditions are normal, we should go with the French polish. Then we have lacquer polish or melamine polish. Then lacquer polish or melamine polish, it it enhances the beauty of the furniture. And if you want to like make, is a different constituents are there in the melamine polish, and which increases the life of the or the durability of that particular polished surface to manifold. Then we have polyurethane, or normally we call PU polish, which is basically done on the surface. If we need a very high quality and luxurious finish of the furniture, this basically gives a waterproof film to the polished surface. And the life of the polyurethane of PU polish is maybe something around 8 to 10 years if the furniture is kept properly. Then the different constituents of a paint and polish, we have linseed oil, methylated spirit, turpentine oil, copal, lac or shellac, acids and sealer. Different These different constituents impart different qualities to the polish. For example, turpentine or linseed oil acts as a solvent. Copal and shellac, they give a color and a protective layer. Then sealer is used to fill up the joints. It seals the joint. From there the word comes sealer, so that the water does not seep in. The joints becomes leak proof or the waterproof. Then, as I already told you, the different types of polishes available, sprit polish and French polish. There are multiple types of polish available for woodwork. French polish and melamine based polishes are two options. French polish or sprit polish is very economical and provides good gloss to wood, but it is not that durable and does not resist scratches or stains. It also loses the shine quickly. So the French polish is basically for economical uses only, because it is not as durable as the melamine or the PU or polyurethane polish. The French polish uses the raw material, for example, wood filler, filling materials, staining, then sealing material. I already told you sealing material is to fill up the to seal the joints, and top coat or the finish coat, which is such as varnish, sprit, or French polish. Then there is melamine based polish, which is base finish and tools for polishing. Melamine based polish is discussed in this section. It is more expensive than French polish but adds great beauty to the woodwork and resists scratches. If you want a good quality and durable furniture, we should go with the melamine polish because it resists the scratches. The polish is available in multiple stains that help getting the desired shade of wood. We don't use like pigments as such. We just use stainers with the melamine solvent to give the to enhance the shade of the natural wood of which the furniture is made up of. You can choose from the shades of teak, mahogany, finishing, natural veneer style, or other shades available. It is very useful because the type of quality which the teak, mahogany, or natural veneer which impart to the furniture, it is retained with the help of melamine polish, and it not just retains, it enhances the durability of the furniture of which uh, the wood is used. For exterior and interior application, there are different wood stains in the market. So make sure you pick the right stain for application. It is not one stain for all the surfaces. We can use different types of stains for our different interior or exterior of the building. Implementation of raw materials. To apply melamine based polish on a surface, we should remove all the dust and dirt from it, because all any dust or dust surface clinging on the surface will not give the desired result. So it is advisable to rub the surface and make that wooden surface smooth before we start polishing. For best polish result, start by sanding the wood with a sandpaper and dust it off. Sandpaper is different grades of sandpapers are available in the market. For example, we can start with 80 or 900 number, then we can go with like 220 or 320 to make it more fine. The finer paper is the papers are like subsequently the paper grade is becomes fine and fine, so that surface becomes smooth and smoother. While doing the sandpaper, ask the painter to rub along the grain of the wood and not against it. It is very important to understand here the sandpaper which is applied to rub the surface of the wood should always be along the grain of the wood. The to retain the texture and the finish of the wood, it is very important that sandpaper should always be applied along the grain and not against it. The crack and hole should be cleaned off, dust be filled with wood putty. There's different type of wood putties available in the market. So the wood is a natural product. It is prone to have like some defects and cracks and knots. So it is very important before we start polishing the wood surface, all the cracks and the knots and the joints should be fixed with the help of wood putty and sandpapered after it. The surfaces should be finished smooth with the help of carpenter's plane. Polish finish is weak against moisture. Wet weather reduces the life of polish finish. So we have seen that texture spray polish or the melamine polish, it is not very much resistant to weather conditions or the moisture conditions. We should go with the melamine polish or the split polish if the furniture is to be placed in interiors. For example, if we want to have a better quality like better resistance against moisture or the weather condition, we should go with a higher quality paint polish, sorry, which is PU paint, which gives a waterproof surface to the given furniture. And it is also very important to note that two coats are recommended at interval of 6 to 8 hours between the two coats. The different maybe two coats or three coats should be applied over the surface of the final surface of the furniture, the time duration between any two coats should be around 6 to 8 hours. What are the advantages? Let us discuss the advantages of the varnish or the polish. The polish provides radiant beauty to the wood, because the after polishing you will find the natural beauty of the wood has been increased manifold. It helps in protecting the wood by binding the surface. It binds the surface together, protecting all the joints and everything. It helps to prevent hairline cracks and absorb the effects of scratching and external damages. All our furnitures, like when we start shifting the furnitures or when cleaning, they are prone to dents and scratches. But after polishing it, it considerably reduces the chances of cracks and defects. It helps in reducing the transfer of moisture between the wood and the surrounding weather. It makes the furniture moisture proof to a large extent. It provides softness and lasting flexibility. It provides softness because the natural wood is very prone to defects like termite and other uh, fungal imparts. But after polishing the wooden surfaces, it protects against the termite as well. And it is melamine is also economical as compared to PU. Then there are some disadvantages also. Melamine polish or the spirit polish, it is very prone to moisture, less resistance to UV rays. You cannot keep the melamine or the spirit polished furnitures outside because it tends to fade. It is not resistant to ultraviolet rays, and it also has some abrasion qualities as compared to PU polish. Then the last and the best quality of polish is PU polish. There are two different types of polyurethane polishes. One is water based and solvent based. Both leave a strong protective coat on the wood. PU polish is comparatively expensive compared to melamine based polish, and carpenters prefer this polish as it can give superior shining in shorter time using less labor. Now, if you want to go with the weatherproof or the waterproof furniture, the only option you available is polyurethane polish, because melamine polish or the French polish is not waterproof. The pure polish available in different multiple stains. You can slightly change the color of the actual wood with the help of the stains. We have different stains available in the market for that purpose. You can choose from the shades of teak, mahogany, finishing, natural veneer style, or other shades available. Different shades available, the different shades of woods are available to give you the desired color of the furniture. For exterior, and then there's like is different types of stains are available for exterior and interior applications. There are different wood stains in the market, so make sure you pick the right stains for the application. The basic raw material used for the PU polish is uh, these include monomers, pre-polymers, stabilizers which protect the integrity of the polymer, and colorants. Colorant and polymer because it gives a desired color and desired protective layer to the wood surface. Then the other raw materials which are used in the PU is to apply a PU polish, start by sanding the wood. For best polish results, start by sanding the wood with a sandpaper and dust it off. While doing the sandpaper, as already told you, that rubbing should always be done in the direction of the wood. Vacuum or wipe the wood to remove all dust and lint from the surface. Apply a thin coat of polyurethane and allow it to cure. Water-based polyurethane typically takes around 1 hour to dry, although humidity will increase the time. It is always recommended to do the polishing work in the dry weather conditions. Try to avoid polishing work in the humid conditions or during rainy seasons, because polyurethane, if it is not drying it properly, it will not give you the desired result. Solvent based polyurethane needs around 4 hours to dry. Then we have to do the sanding work like 2 or 3 times. Repeat the sanding, cleaning and application step at least 3 or more times. For the final application of polyurethane, sand the piece with wet and dry paper. After the final coat of polyurethane has dried, buff the wood with a buffing wheel. What is a buffing wheel? Buffing wheel is basically a very fine wheel which gives a very rich glow or shine to the wood surface, which is not possible with the help of normal sandpapers. So after the final coat has been done, we should use the buffing wheel to give a rich shine or the glow to the wooden furniture. So the polyurethane PU polish, basically either you use the solvent based or water based, will always give you with a very high gloss finish. Then there are so many advantages of using PU polish. Let us go one by one. PU polish can give good finish in a shorter time. It is a like the process is slightly shorter, and also in the short time it gives a good finish. But the only disadvantage is like if you get use PU polish, it is slightly expensive than the melamine or the spirit polish. Both water-based and solvent-based PU finishes can provide a beautiful finish in matte, glossy or satin finish. Different type of finishes are also available. Some people like they don't want to go with a like very glossy finish of the furniture. They can opt for matte finish or the satin finish, leatherette finish, which we call it, because to give a subtle, rich look to the furniture. It is a polyurethane PU is very environmental friendly also. It is odorless and quick drying, sorry. Odorless, it does not give any, does not have its own any odor, so it is very human friendly, and it dries up quickly so that the process becomes faster, giving a good film to the furniture, and it is highly like resistant to cracks and moisture. Therefore, the maintenance is also very less. Water-based polyurethane is available in commercial and domestic quality depending on the durability required. Then solvent-based polyurethane finishes are the older and more stabilized form of finish. This is more stabilized, that means it's more durable. And again, you can put the furnitures with finish with the PU polish in the exterior also, but it is very much resistant to ultraviolet rays, moisture and abrasion. PU polish on woodwork and furniture protects the wood from all type of weather. So it is highly recommended to go with the like weather extreme conditions like in India or basically in Uttar Pradesh, where the weather conditions are very harsh and very extreme. So if you want to give your furniture a high durability, we should better go with the PU polish only. And that is all from today. Thank you.